Yes, yes.
Hello, I'm Marianna Chernyavska. Can I share my screen? Do you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak to you. The topic of my report is decolonization of music education of Ukraine. This concept consists of many components. Today, I want to tell you about rethinking our perception of reality after a full-scale Russia invasion, about the impact of war on the creative and pedagogical activities of Kharkiv musicians, and how music and music education in Ukraine reflect of our human experience. I represent the Kharkiv Kotlяревsky National University of Art, the leading of and olden higher art educational institution in Ukraine, a creative and research center of music and theater education in Slobozhan region. There are photos our university up until 2022. My hometown Kharkiv is located in the northeast of Ukraine, the second largest city in the country. Before the war, Kharkiv was the largest business, scientific, cultural and student center of Ukraine. The war changed our lives, studying and working conditions, dreams and plans. For almost 4 years, Ukrainian people have been defending their country from enemy attacks. Kharkiv was the first city to experience the war in February 2022. From the very first minutes of the war, Kharkiv stood up to defend the city with heroic resistance to enemy to this day. The war significantly affected the work of the Kharkiv Kotlяревsky National University of Art. In March 2022, the main building of the university received some damage by shelling. It seemed the tragic of the war could become the beginning of dramatic downfall of the university regarding it was in the epicenter of events. However, this war inspired the artistic to counteract its horrid consequences. This confirms what historical mission of educational establishment of classical art is to stand against the evil and chaos despite the unartistic situation, conflict between artistic and external environment. The staff of university quickly adapted to realities of the war. They rescued musical instruments, did their best to eliminate the consequence of building destruction, and created many types of educational activities online. We suffer greatly from what the aggressor country has done to us. Because of this, we refuse to perform Russian music, teach students from Russia textbook, and use Russia research in musicology. We accepted this challenge to rebuild our education system, focusing on the civilized countries of the world. The introduction of new method into the educational process has become a something needed. Situatedness generated by war created an artificial aesthetic space, which can be any place, even one completely unsuitable for such action in normal, peaceful times. For example, the Kharkiv subway, basements, underground parking areas. Talented musicians play in the street near destroyed building, putting themselves at risk of being shelled by the enemy at any moment. Undoubtedly not suitable condition for musical art.
Не так ми готувалися відзначати ювілей. Через війну наші студенти грають не в учбових аудиторіях та залах, а на руїнах будинків.
In March 2022, in the first months of the war, the Kharkiv cellist Denis Karachintsev launched his project Streets of Kharkiv. Its goal was to raise funds for humanitarian aid and the restoration of the city's architecture. Denis wrote about these videos. I love my heroic city, which is now fighting for survival in the war. I deeply believe that we can help. I believe that we can restore and rebuild our city and our country when the war is over. Let's unite, rebuild our city together. In this extreme contrast between artistic and worldly spaces, the situatedness of the war became inverted. As a result, we can observe a potent artistic burst. Such dangerous life situations become aestheticized in art, revealing unique opportunities for creativity. Despite the non-artistic condition, the artistic events continue. The war is a tragedy for Ukraine, but paradoxically gave rise to counter-reflection of artists and a number of unique artistic situations, which perhaps would not have occurred in the condition of ordinary everyday life. And it was here, together with Kharkiv musicians, that the singer Sviatoslav Vakarchuk recorded his famous songs Hug Me. The video was shot on April 14, 2022 in Kharkiv, in the courtyard of the famous Palace of Labor, destroyed by Russia bombs. The song became a masterpiece and a symbol of the era we live in. It begins with words that are important for every Ukrainian. When the day comes, the war will end. Коли настане день, закінчиться війна. Listen to this song, friend. Please, one fragment.
Настане день, закінчиться війна, там загубив себе, побачив аж до дна. Обійми мене, душа складає зброю вниз. Невже таки вона так хоче теплих сліз? Обійми мене, обійми мене, обійми так лагідно і не пускай. Обійми мене, обійми мене, обійми. Твоя весна прийде, нехай.
One of the still of the video Hug Me became a screensaver of the ELIA website of a global European and world network that provides a dynamic platform for the exchange and development of higher art education, including a representative of 285 art universities from 52 countries. In November 2022, at the Biennale of the ELIA in Helsinki, a presentation of the UX platform program was held, which is aimed at supporting Ukrainian educational institutions and helping students. Kharkiv Kotlяревский National University of Arts became a member of this organization. Collaboration with international organizations and universities around the world help us integrate into the global educational and scientific community, synthesizing Ukrainian tradition with international experience. This process is rethinking the vectors of Ukrainian theoretical and historical musicology and creating modern education program in various musician disciplines at our university. In May 2024, the UNESCO department was opened at the Kharkiv Kotlяревский National University of Art. This historic event confirmed the many years international activity of our educational institution. But the process of colonization is not just about gaining international experience. It is a journey toward oneself, toward one's own national culture, and toward understanding one's own value and significance. During the war, our university's teachers conduct unique work with students in online learning. Please listen to the Ukrainian folk songs "Стоїть явір", performed by our student choir. The war became a time of cruel and forced growing up for Ukrainian students. This influenced the formation of their national feelings, responsibility, and humanity. The university has a practical psychologist who helps students and teachers overcome war trauma. Projects are being implemented that study the impact of the war on students' feeling of professional self-realization. An important factor of our common war trauma is the support of the social environment in the embodiment of the creative intentions of young musicians. A person as a creative individual must realize himself despite any obstacles, and his has significant value providing a way to comprehend the inner world of human beings. Art become a means of vitality and resistance, bolstering the spirit, willpower, and hope. It helps to reclaim inner harmony and humanity in inhuman situation. The leading topic of many events today is the achievement of Ukrainian art. In our city, it is a particular music created by Kharkiv residents, graduates of the Kharkiv University of Art, those who worked here before or are currently working and studying. Another important topic has become rethinking our national roots, discovering forgotten names and honoring the memory of outstanding Ukrainian musicians. To this end, competitions and festivals are held dedicated to Sergei Bartkevich, Gnat Khatkevich, Dmitro Klebanov, the Yeshenko sisters, and other talented representatives of Kharkiv. The compositional practice, inspired by war, form a special branch of the artist's creativity. Their war works, created from a beginning of the full-scale invasion, are not always written in easy language. My colleague Dmitro Malый, a young composer, a representative of the modern Ukrainian school, Dmitro, PhD, docent of the composition department of our university. He is the winner of a number international and all Ukrainian composition competition. We write symphony, instrumental, vocal works, and even created the mystery opera The Green Circle. Dmitro Malıy's work are performed in different countries of the world. I asked Dmitro how the war affected him as a composer. How much has his perception of music changed? What did he write about? Dmitro answered, now it is impossible to create music that is not related to the war, to Ukraine, to national themes. I am very worried about my family and friends, about the fate of my country. My wife and son were evacuated to Germany. My parents are still in Kherson under terrible shelling. Each my last word presents the theme of war in different way. As a composer, I cannot and don't want to repeat myself. I am always looking for another way for my new works. The choral composition Salve Regina is like a prayer or peace. Seven work about Kolomyka for violin is a theme of national roots, Ukrainian identity. struggle and symbol of victim of aggression, like 7 volts of Christ. Prayer for peace for violin, Lamente, the last songs of angel, is dedicated to the memory of war victim, acquiring faith for organ. What people really need of this time, this faith. In October 2024, the world premiere of Dmitro Mali's The War Symphony took place at the Lviv Organ Hall. Symphony reflects the resilience and spirit modern Ukraine, weaving together themes of struggle, hope, and pursuit of peace. Listen to a fragment of this composition. Lullaby for voice and instrumental ensemble in another war theme composition by the young Kharkiv composer and teacher Vladimir Bogatyrev. Vladimir hadn't left Kharkiv since the war began. Their conditions inspired him to create the lyric and music for lullaby. In the note to the work, the composer wrote the following: a lot of Ukrainians have suffered from the beginning of Russian invasion. A large number of people have lost their work, their homes, some even lost their families. The kids were affected by this even more. The basements and bomb shelters moving to other cities see their parents worried. All their factors led to the kids losing their sweet childhood dreams. Let his lullaby be their protection. I want to remember one more of my colleagues, Vladimir Pushkin, the famous Kharkiv composer of the oldest generation, professor, head of the composition department. He was an excellent musician, a talented composer, pianist, and a teacher, and just a very nice person. He became one of the many victims of the war. The tone to his music, because it reflects the main human values, which in the condition of war acquire the content of an ideal for the present and the future. And so I won't suggest you listen to a very bright, very positive piano piece. Often the composer skill is determining the consequence of statement, the ability to say a lot in a little. In my opinion, this work reflects all the bright essence of the human soul, all the best that people have. Please listen Vals Exprompt by Vladimir Ptushkin. For the artist himself, his unique psychic reaction to the events of the war often became therapeutic. This sphere has been gaining more and more popularity in Ukrainian higher education establishment from the start of the war in Ukraine. In our university, a large-scale project of art therapeutic help in the field of music therapy, project manager Professor Yulia Nikolaevskaya. A branch of their artist project included world-famous specialist in music therapy, British composer, lecturer, humanitarian worker, ex-professor at University of Edinburgh, Hochschule für Musik Theater and Medien Hanover, Nigel Osborne. A social realization of personality influences the artist and aesthetic needs of the person. The desire for harmony, beauty, balance, and dignity can be the case in such a situation. So, art can save people, save one's mind from being consumed by horror of war, can restore human dignity, which is taken away by war. In situations, artistic events are a natural human protest to war. Significant events in wartime Kharkiv were the performances of university's opera studio. A safe environment on the -3rd floor was provided by the Kharkiv Academic Opera and Ballet Theatre. In December 2024, the premiere of the opera Hänsel and Gretel Humperdinck took place. In May 2025, the university's opera studio hosted the all-Ukrainian premiere of the opera The Proud Captive Pergolesi. On stage were students, graduate students, and teachers of the university. And this is the 4th year of full-scale invasion. Classes are online, but the students and teachers of university did the incredible, critics wrote. Today I told you about the horror of war. Their terrible events forced us to unite, experiencing the pain of loss. Having gone through the trails, we have become even more aware of our national identity and values. Under their condition, Ukrainian education experiences great challenges. Constant stress, shelling, loss of health and normal living condition, lack of confidence in what will happen tomorrow. And this is very worrying. But even in such condition, we continue to teach, create, perform music, and develop. The war gave us a clear idea of system of human value, what occupies the main place in life and what is secondary. The war reminds us to importance on things that they had taken for granted until recently. Life in peaceful country, the comfort of our own home, the safety of our loved one, the opportunity to do what we love together with like-minded people. On May 2022, our university celebrated 108 years of its foundation. We continue to educate students and engage in science and creativity. Even in such difficult time, we do not stop. We thank heroic army of Ukraine for their strength and resilience. Thanks to them, we exist, we work, and believe in the future of our country.
Kharkiv, a city of culture and education, stands just 30 kilometers from the border of the aggressor state. Since February 2022, the war has literally challenged the core of our existence. Yet the spirit of art cannot be silenced. In the spring of 2022, the Kharkiv Kotlyarevsky University of Arts suffered immediate, devastating damage. 158 windows shattered, the heating system destroyed, and 69 grand pianos exposed to freezing temperatures. But even as the world turned upside down, our work continued. We kept not only teaching, but creating. Over 500 concerts and 7 opera premieres in collaboration with the Kharkiv Opera House. We brought culture to the people, performing in shelters and keeping alive the essential bond between the university and the community. In defiance, we are not merely surviving, we are evolving. We launched the UNESCO Chair, developed vital initiatives like music, creative arts, and trauma with global partners. Our academic life thrives. Conferences and forums unite scholars and artists, a testament to the unbreakable spirit of creation and thought. We extend a heartfelt gratitude to the Association of European Conservatories and our partner institutions for their steadfast support. Thanks to your guidance and encouragement, our students and faculty continue to take part in the Erasmus Plus program, opening new horizons and strengthening cultural connections. Your support inspires us to preserve and share our art and culture for Ukraine and for the world. With deep appreciation for your ongoing help and solidarity.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your brilliant presentation. It was amazing as well as very sad And now I want to ask audience, our online guests, to ask questions. Maybe you have some questions. I don't see the hands yet. Okay, in this case, I will ask some questions. I remember one statement of Richard Wagner. He said that if religion goes into stage of crisis, art will help civilization. Now I was watching your videos, presentation, pictures, and yes, I'm not sure about religion, but we have a wartime, and what I see, art can save us. So music can save us. This was main idea of your presentation. Thank you for this. And my question, did you add some subjects, new subjects, as a reflection during war times? And did you change some methodologies in your institution during war times? And this is my question.
Thank you for your question. Alexander helped me with ask. Тобто мене запитують, яку ми методологію використовуємо нову.
Так, Борислава, чи з'явилися якісь нові теми і в цілому нова методологія?
Ми переорієнтувалися на західний досвід, який ми знали менше через те, що ми були більше виховані на російській платформі.
Yes, so we have reoriented towards the Western experience, toward the Western mythology. That prior to the war, because we were mostly brought on other methodology, but now we are turning our attention to Western school of thinking.
Зрозуміло, що для цього треба знати мову, і ми намагаємося її вчити, наскільки можемо, але мова йде про те, що зараз ми більше звертаємося до першоджерел. Тобто, якщо ми вивчаємо німецьку музику, то ми зараз вже намагаємося її вивчати по німецьким джерелам, якщо англійську – по англійським. Ми звертаємося також до багатьох джерел, інтернет-джерел, таких як, скажімо, Бетховенський музей або Шопенівський музей, інтернет-музей. І, скажімо, я на лекціях з історії фортепіанного мистецтва проходжу творчість деяких композиторів навіть на основі таких інтернет-платформ, тому що вважаю, що це правильно.
Obviously, one of the problems is to learn, because this methodology is in different language, but we are trying to learn them. But what we also do is we try to, when we study some music, we try to find the research literature from that country. For instance, if we are studying German music, then we try to build our source basis on German sources. If we are studying English music, then we are turning to British and American sources. And another thing we have started doing is turning to the online museums. For instance, Chopin Museum, they have online exhibitions, and I have, as part of lectures on the history of piano performance, some topics, some composers we have studied just through these museums, because I think it is really a great way to show the composer.
Thank you very much. And one additional question, if we do not... Okay. Do we have a question from audience? I cannot see all participants. Okay, in this case, I have another additional question. So I don't know how to call it advantage of the war and profits of the war. But when we were the whole country, Soviet Union, for example, in Georgia, we do not know that very great Ukrainian writers, musicologists, pianists, performers, they were Ukrainian. We know that they were Russian. So it was a huge problem. And now I think that after this war, the process of clarification of identities was started. And how you manage with this process?
Трошки перекладіть мене.
Ну, основна ідея в тому, що от до того, як почалася війна, в тому числі і в радянські часи, да, ми думали, ну, наприклад, ми в Грузії думали про багатьох там відомих поетів, письменників, музикознавців, що вони російські, а направду вони були українські. Да? Тобто зараз відбувається цей процес прояснення того, хто є хто і хто є українцем. І от як ви з цим процесом справляєтеся, що в цьому напряму робиться?
Ну, ми так само вважаємо, як і ви, тому що, скажімо, ми не готові віддати Росії як ворогу того ж Генріха Нейгауза, який народився в Україні, того ж Святослава Ріхтера, який народився в Житомирі. Ми вважаємо їх нашими митцями. І так само багатьох, Сергій Прокоф'єв, є багато таких митців. Але я вважаю, що навіть за цим таким, знаєте, принципом не варто розділяти людей. Тому що і на сьогодні я вважаю, що є в Росії нормальні люди, які мислять нормально. Да? Тобто все ж таки я вважаю, що worldview, що thinking, да, що основне це думка, як людина ставиться до життя, що вона вважає за гарне, а що за погане. Тому я вважаю, що не можна просто ну, так, пов'язувати, да, що от російське це все погане. Але, на жаль, просто сама оця імперська ідеологія, яка вже стільки десятків років нам заважає жити нормальним життям, на жаль, нас вимушує це пов'язувати виключно з Росією.
Yes, really this process is quite a difficult one, and for instance, we are not ready to give it to Russia, to our enemy and aggressor, such wonderful pianists as Heinrich Neuhaus, who was born in Ukraine, as Svetoslav Richter, who was born in a wonderful Ukrainian city of Zhytomyr, and some other very good people. On the other hand, I don't think it is worth like completely drawing the line of that of all the Russian, because obviously there are people in Russia who think clearly, who understand what is going on, and for me, what matters is not your passport, but your but your thinking, your worldview. So. The main problem is not with the people, obviously, it is with the empire ideology that has been around for decades or hundreds of years and really get in the way of our normal life.
Thank you very much. And one additional comment. When we had war in Georgia, everything stopped. Art exhibitions, concerts, opera productions, even educational processes. And what I see in Ukraine, nothing has stopped. And I see too many conferences, too many concerts, maybe in shelters, some of them. I see too many activities, competitions. And so how you manage with all these events, it's unbelievable. So I'm asking about what is your new experience after wartime, after the war ends, what would be your new experience?
Ну, тобто, що фактично нічого не зупинилося. От в Грузії там все зупинилося, там навчальний процес, концерти, виставки, все таке інше, у нас нічого не зупинилося. І от фактично, да, от як вам це вдається, що ви плануєте після війни, які нові якісь такі експірієнси?
Thank you for your question. Все залежить від того, на яких умовах і з яким результатом закінчиться війна. Це нас дуже-дуже тривожить, тому що, скажімо, у Харкова є не дуже гарна перспектива, оскільки він знаходиться дуже близько до кордонів Росії. І зараз це провокує відтік студентів від східу України на захід або взагалі на кордон. І от з цього приводу я зараз не можу сказати, яка в нас перспектива. Тобто ми робимо все для того, щоб вижити. А як буде розвиватися, тобто наше життя і наша доля багато в чому пов'язана із долею самої України.
Yeah, so if we are talking about the perspectives, it is quite difficult to say because yes, we do what we can in order to survive, but Kharkiv has this unfortunate situation of being located quite near the border with Russia, so that unfortunately drives lots of our people, of our students and those who would have become our students towards the western parts of Ukraine or even further abroad. It is very problematic, but there's nothing we can do with that. So our perspectives clearly depend on the perspectives of whole Ukraine and how exactly will this war end.
Thank you very much. We all are with Ukraine, and I wish you all the best. And thank you very much for this amazing presentation. And thank you, Sasha, for your interpretation. I wish you all the best, and we stand with Ukraine.
Thank you for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we
have enough time. I want to ask question. Dear participant, I am Hasan Sait Ortop. You know, maybe we publish article with Kwanza, War and Music, discourse analysis of Ukrainian musicians, transculturalism, according to transculturalism. So I think like these articles and research and some similar presentation, research-based and proof and evidence-based research and presentation very important to understanding to musicians and researchers and academicians the feeling of the situation of the war and education war and music, all of perspective. You say, dear, her name Marianna. You say we remove our education, our curriculum, the Russian text and Russian everything, remove. Yes, but this is not. This is maybe immediately decision. You need before maybe 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, your national and your Ukraine identity, your programs, your curriculum, educational curriculum. I saw the Georgia from Gwansa. Their alphabet, their language is different, and I saw the Azerbaijan also similar countries from the Russia. Azerbaijan changed the language, changed the alphabet, and deeply understand their national and cultural identity. So your language similar Russia, your music maybe similar Russian music and maybe culture. What is the plan in future? Approximately maybe after the war, 5 or 10 years later, your educational programs, music programs will be change. What is the dimension? New change, new revolution, your Ukrainian music culture, music identity. And extra, beside my question, what is the role the university music and conservatory, this wartime, increase the moral value and motivation your nation developing their motivation in wartime. Is there any plan? Is there any program? Is there any activities your university?
Як змінилася, да? Як змінилися програми? Правильно я
Ну,
зрозуміла, да?
да, якщо підсумувати, то яким чином, то що викинули все російське, то ясно. А от
Да.
як ви в подальшому бачите зміну програми і в цілому то національної культурної ідентичності? І друге питання, да, що от університет явно багато в чому допомагає, ну там власне суспільству, там надихає і все таке інше. І от чи є там якийсь такий конкретний теж план дій на майбутнє з цього приводу?
Thank you for your question. Ну, план, він, як сказала наша ректор, коли її запитали, що ви будете відроджувати після війни, вона сказала, що ми можемо тільки відбудовувати будівлі, що нам відроджувати нічого не треба, що ми все розвиваємо зараз і будемо розвивати далі. Ну, перекладіть спочатку.
Yeah, so our rector was asked how and when will and what will we restore after the war ends? And she replied that the only thing we will just restore is the building of our university. Other things we will not just restore, but we will simply develop them.
Я зараз навіть не готова вам сказати, тому що якщо б війна закінчилася, да, то ми могли б казати про якийсь результат. Єдиний результат, єдиний план, який ми хочемо, да? Ми хочемо жити в цивілізованій країні. Ми не хочемо тоталітарного режиму. Ми хочемо жити так, як живуть цивілізовані країни. Оце єдиний план. Да? Це не просто тому, що ми хочемо сказати, що українське це надцінне. Це наше просто. І ми не хочемо, щоб у нас забрали. Тому що, скажімо, коли Росія каже, що українська мова – це мова сільська, це мова неграмотних людей, да? А грамотна мова, мова міста великого – це російська. Я навіть вам можу сказати, що мій батько, він народився в Полтавській області. Він все свої юнацькі роки він розмовляв українською мовою. І тільки коли він прийшов в Харків навчатися в медичний університет, то він почав вчити російську, тому що там не казали українською мовою. Розумієте? Ми і російську знаємо, і ми повинні мати своє. Просто своє і жити цивілізованим життям. Все, ми більше нічого не хочемо.
Yes, so I cannot tell you right now of some elaborated plan because it all depends on how the war and when the war ends. But what the only thing that we really want is to live in a civilized country. We do not want to live in a totalitarian state. And we just want to have a normal life like all the civilized countries. And regarding the culture, we do not want to say that everything that is Ukrainian is somehow better than everything else written in the world. Obviously, that's not true. But we understand that Ukrainian culture is ours, and we don't want anyone to take that out from us. For instance, my own father, who was born in Poltava region of Ukraine, he spoke only Ukrainian while in his youth, and yet when he enrolled the Kharkiv Medical University, he was forced to learn Russian language because it was language spoken there. That's just one example. Yes, of course, we do know Russian language, there's no secret, but we have what is ours, and we want to live our way, and we want our way to be civilized.
І ще одне. Ми хочемо спілкуватися з цивілізованими людьми. З людьми, у яких є нормальні цінності. Не ті цінності, які має тоталітарна країна.
And another thing is that we want to communicate with civilized people, with people who have normal humanitarian values that are missing in totalitarian states.
Thank you. Thank you. Same in Georgia. As a sign of protest and sign of solidarity, we don't use Russian musicologists' articles, don't cite them, don't use them, and we have oriented on European articles, European musicologists. And the only problem we have, only issue we have, we cannot say that we will not